Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi guys. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Eva Nurhayati. My study number is 80. I'm a college student of Agribisnis study program, Agriculture Faculty, University of Trunojoyo, Madura. In this video, I will answer the final semester exam question for the Islamic Business Economic course with the supervisor Miss Novidiana Badru Tamami. The following explain the difference using murabaha, asalam, istisna, qard, rohan, and wadiyah contract diagrams. The first, murabaha contract scheme. Procedure or scheme for the implementation of the murabaha agreement. Number 1, the bank and the customer enter into a financing contract for the sale and purchase of an item. In this contract, the bank acts as the seller and the customer as the buyer. Number 2, the bank purchases the goods that the customer wants from the seller supplier and is paid in a case. Number 3, goods that have been purchased by the bank and are sent by the supplier to the customer. Number 4, the customer receives the purchased goods. And number 5, for the goods purchased, the customer pays his obligation to the bank in installment for a certain period of time. The second, Salam contract scheme. Explanation of the flow of the Salam contract scheme. Number 1, negotiation with an agreement between the seller and the buyer regarding the creating transaction to be carried out. Number 2, after the contract is agreed, the buyer makes payment for the desired goods in accordance with the agreement that has been made. Number 3, in a salam transaction, the seller begins to produce or complete the stage of planting the product that the buyer wants. After the product is produced at or before the delivery date, and seller sends the goods according to the agreed quality and quality specification to the buyer. As for parallel salam transaction, which are usually used by seller or Islamic bank, who do not produce salam product themselves, after agreeing on a contract greetings and receiving fund from salam customer, then separately make salam contracts with farmer as products as salam product. Number 4, after agreeing on the second greeting transaction, the bank immediately makes payment to farmers. Number 5, within a certain period of time, based on the agreement with the bank, the farmer sends salam product to the farmer in accordance with the specific specification. And number 6, banks receive document for delivery of salam product to customer from farmers. Then the third, istisna contract scheme. The first, simple istisna contract. Simple istisna contract scheme, so it can be seen in the schematic drawing of the contract. For example, a buyer or mustasni purchase a custom cupboard from a manufacturer when the buyer has ordered a custom wardrobe according to the desired specification. Then negotiation and an istisna contract will occur. In negotiation and istisna contract, they will discuss related goods, such as the specification of the desired goods, the payment system or paid in advance in installment, and at the end, then the producer will produce the goods according to what the buyer wants. When the goods are finished, the producer will send the goods to the buyer and the buyer will receive the goods. Next, the second istisna contract is parallel. In the picture, it can be seen that there are two dot lines. The blue dot line is the first istisna, while the red dot line is the second istisna. The flow isn't the first istisna, namely the customer comes to the Islamic bank to order the manufacture of goods in the form of a house. Then proceed to step 1A, namely the negotiation and contract state between the customer and the Islamic bank. When the customer has negotiated, then enters the second istisna stage, namely the Islamic bank will order a house from the producer, and here there will be negotiation and an istisna contract. Then when the Islamic bank has negotiated and is going with the producer, then back to the first istisna, namely at stage 2A, the customer will pay for the house with an agreed payment system, or paid in advance, in installment, or paid at the end. When stage 2B has been carried out, then process to the second istisna, where the Islamic bank will pay the house to the producer and is generally paid in cash. When stage 2A and 2B has been carried out, when processed to stage 3A, namely the producer will send the goods to the customer. Since the ordered item is a house, what is given to the customer is a building and proof of ownership. Meanwhile, the documents or proof of ownership will be sent to the Islamic bank. And then the fourth, court contract scheme. From the above scheme, it can be illustrated that mukrid is only a forum for distributing people's funds in the form of zakat, infak, and sodaqah in the form of court, namely a loan without any profits. In this court, the customer is obligated to return funds to the mukrid in the amount of the loan that has been obtained. In the sense, the mukrid receives a return of capital from the customer. The muqtarid customer submit a loan the mukrid using a court contract. The loan is a loan for business capital managed by the customer. The customer or muqtarid runs the capital for a business. After getting business profit, the customer returns the business capital he borrowed. The profits earned from the customer business 100% for the customer himself. The fifth, Rahan contract scheme. Through a Rahan contract, the customer submits movable goods and then the pawn shop store and maintains it in the place provided by the pawn shop. From the storage process, costs will arise which include the investment value of the storage area, maintenance costs, and the entire activity process. On this basis, it is justified for pawn shop to charge rent to customer according to the amount agreed by both parties. Pawn shop only benefit from space rental fees, not additional in the form of interest or capital rent, which is calculated from the loan. And the last, Wadiyah contract scheme. Number 1, Wadiyah Amanah contract scheme. Wadiyah Amanah contract is illustrated in a simpler process. The custodian will profit the goods to be deposited, but as a service for storage. The depositor pays. This usually happens in Islamic bank on safe deposit box product. And number 2, Wadiyah Damanah contract scheme. If from the money pledged in the Wadiyah Damanah contract and the bank makes a profit, bank does not have the right to give bonus, but generally banks give this profit as gift or bonus to customer voluntarily, and in Islam this is allowed. When viewed from the scheme above, the goods are assets that are deposited and turned by the bank in a business which then from the business generate profit then are specially interned for the bank. The bank decision to give a bonus or not depends on the bank's own policy. Okay, maybe that's all I can say. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.